From Kevin Na's insane feud with Grayson Murray over slow play, to Phil Mickelson awkwardly defending his decision to join LIV Golf, these are some golfers that got into it on Twitter. Let's start with Kevin Na's feud with Murray, because things got intense between these two. I mean, Na has never backed down from a Twitter fight in his career, but maybe he went a bit too overboard with this one. Now, let me set the scene first. Kevin had just played a spectacular 2 days of golf at the 2022 Sony Open, as he scored a 9 under 61 on Thursday and a respectable 71 on Friday. But despite his great performance, there was some drama on Twitter about his slow play. First, TV reporter Chantel McCabe tweeted saying that Kevin Na walking in putts does not get old. What made things really fiery, however, was when Grayson Murray decided to step in and fire his shot, as he said that Kevin Na taking 3 minutes to putt them does get old. Oof. But of course, how could the 39-year-old let him get away with that? No chance. So he fired back with his own little burn and came up with a golden reply that said, "You missing the cut is getting old." Yikes. Difficult to get back from that one, isn't it? Although, to be fair, Murray did respond with tweets that have now been deleted, saying that Na would never say this to his face, and that if they'd penalized him for slow play, he wouldn't have made the cut either. That being said, while this feud still made some sense, Paige Spiranic's back and forth with Nick Adams was just straight up bizarre. Adams is a very strong supporter of alpha male values, and even has the words alpha male in his Twitter username. Now, it seems like he doesn't like it when women play golf on the same course as him, because back in January, he tweeted that there should be a separate course for female golfers who, according to him, are very slow, just so they don't clog up the courses on the weekends. Yikes! But even though literally everyone was grilling him in replies, golfer-turned-influencer Paige Spiranek also decided to get in on the fun, saying that it'd be so satisfying to outdrive him all day long. Here's where things get spicy though, because Adam replied instantly and said that she's not famous because of her golf swing or how far she could drive the ball. But again, you just don't mess with Paige Spiranek, because she's got a cheeky response for everything. And, well, that's exactly what she did, and tweeted, "Listen, Nick, we all know I have fantastic knockers. I shall now change my name to Paige Spiranek Alpha Jugs." Of course, the influencer's tweet went viral, so much so that there were actual news stories about her new nickname. Adams, in the meantime, kept trying to make a comeback, saying he just spoke the truth and he regrets nothing. So, as a final blow, Spiranek just referred to him as Little Nicky and said that he should go back to his room because he's embarrassing himself. Game, set, match. But while this was obviously a fun exchange, it doesn't even come close to Brooks Koepka trolling Brian DeChambeau. Now, back in 2020, there were question marks over whether DeChambeau had taken any performance-enhancing drugs to change his physique so rapidly. I mean, he literally added 20 yards to his drive. Although things kinda got out of hand at the 2020 Mortgage Classic, where a cameraman literally followed DeChambeau everywhere on the course. And of course, the golfer remarked about it later in his interview as well, saying that it was very weird the way he was being watched by everyone. Oh, and yeah, Bryson also ended up winning this event, which raised even more eyebrows. But even though he said that he denied taking any drugs, Brooks Koepka wasn't having any of that. So, without even mentioning DeChambeau once, he just posted a gif of Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down yelling into the camera, "I said I'm not on steroids." Obviously, everyone knew who he was talking about, so the post was very well received by golf Twitter. That being said, Koepka's post was still pretty harmless and didn't really affect much. But the same can't be said for Ian Poulter, because as it turns out, the 47-year-old has a tendency to go after fans and report them to their employers. Yep, the guy's a snitch. During the 2016 Valspar Championship, for instance, a fan tweeted that he'd been heckling Poulter to the point where he somehow managed to get into the Englishman's head. Now, Poulter obviously didn't like this slander. Rather than taking it on the chin and moving on, though, he decided to tweet at the fan's employer and notified them about his conduct. And yeah, that resulted in the guy losing his job. Of course, this wasn't great from a multi-millionaire golfer, especially because it showed just how fragile his ego was. But only a year later, Poulter made himself look even worse by repeating the same thing. This time, it was another fan sharing an incident he had with the golfer after delivering a card to him, calling him arrogant. And, well, the Englishman didn't like that one bit. He tweeted at the company asking, "Would you pay a delivery guy to deliver your valuable item if he thinks you're an arrogant prick?" And the company, of course, responded with an apology and said that the driver's been routed to their HQ. I mean, talk about having thin skin. Having said that, while Poulter loves to get others in trouble, Justin Thomas kinda got dragged into a feud with the USGA. Yep, a player fighting an authority. Now, for context, the USGA and some golfers got into this very public spat after a 2019 revision to the rules of golf. Things got even worse, however, when Adam Schenk got a two-stroke penalty because of these new rules during the 2019 Honda Classic. So, in response, Thomas posted a screenshot of Schenk's penalty and said, "Grow the game," sarcastically. What's more, he also later clarified that he hopes the USGA starts communicating with players to improve the game and that all golfers benefit from the new changes. But it seems like he stepped on the USGA's nerve, if that was even possible, because the authority actually tweeted at him saying, "Justin, we need to talk. You've canceled every meeting we've planned with you, but we are reaching again. Call us." In fact, the USGA even said that they've been at 5 events of the year and that the PGA Tour has had a seat at the table for 7 years, so they'd love nothing more than to give him a seat. I mean, I'm not even sure if this was embarrassing for the USGA or JT, but it sure was awkward as hell for everyone. Although, only 3 days later, the USGA backtracked on its statement and said that Thomas actually did not avoid a discussion or cancel a meeting with them. Now, golfers love sparking feuds on Twitter, but sometimes they just want to make fun of someone else's situation. After all, that's exactly what Max Homa and Collin Morikawa did. Now, this one needs some context because if you remember, Rory McIlroy and Patrick Reed had this feud where the LIV star tried to greet the Irishman at the Dubai Desert Classic. But when McIlroy seemed to ignore him, Reed threw a tee at him in what's now called the Teagate. Oh, and then there was the subpoena that Reed sent over to Rory during Christmas, too. Of course, this was a very dramatic story as tensions between the two got really high. Homa and Morikawa, however, decided to poke fun at the situation instead. After finishing the first round of the Farmers Insurance Open, Homa posted a tweet saying that he had a nice time on the course with 5 birdies, 1 bogey, and no subpoenas. And, well, Morikawa chimed in right after and said that he was so close to throwing a tee at Homa, but he's too nice. Homa's reply? "Thank you for sparing me." I mean, the duo made fun of the Reed-McIlroy incident in the best possible way. But while this back and forth was all in good fun, Phil Mickelson's defense of his LIV Golf move was, well, awkward to say the least. Now, this went down in late 2019 when initial reports started surfacing that Lefty could abandon the PGA Tour for a new Saudi-funded league after he ditched the Phoenix Open to attend the Saudi International. Of course, many people questioned whether he actually thought it was a good move for his career, or if he was simply going for the money. In fact, golf writer Ewan Murray even tweeted that if Phil was so keen to visit Saudi Arabia, he could have gone without being paid. And, well, Mickelson did not like being dragged into that conversation. He said that of course he could go without being paid, but given that he's also got the opportunity to play golf and compete, the journalist's recommendation was just stupid. Murray wasn't done though, because he responded by mentioning how it won't seem stupid to people who actually care about human rights, obviously referring to all the rights abuse allegations against the Saudi government. Mickelson, however, didn't really have a good comeback after that and just awkwardly dipped out with a Kevin Hart quote, "You do you, boo-boo, 'cause I'm gonna do me." And there you have it. From Phil Mickelson defending his decision to join LIV Golf, to Kevin Na fighting Grayson Murray over slow play, those were some golfers that got into it on Twitter.